Welcome everyone. I'm Marijke and I am delighted to be hosting today's virtual summit for values-led ventures. So just a bit of an introduction to what we're going to be speaking about today. Thankfully, conscious consumerism is on the rise. According to market research firm Nielsen, 73% of global consumers say they would definitely or probably, so take from that what you will, change their consumption habits to reduce their impacts on the environment. Millennials are reported, to be willing to pay even more for these products over more destructive alternatives. And it's not just millennials, right? In the US alone, consumers are expected to spend $150 billion on sustainable products.
Another statistic I like is that 88% of millennial consumers think it's businesses' responsibility to help them do the right thing. So this isn't just that we're trying to, pander to consumers' desires and needs and whims. It's that we're really, companies who don't do this are not going to survive, in my opinion. We say grow tamarisk trees. And this one is more of a story. It's a story I heard on a podcast several years ago when I was starting the company. And it is in the Middle East. There's a certain type of tree called the tamarisk tree, and it provides more moisture as well as shade than most trees in that area. And because it is such a dry, hot place, obviously that's really valuable. You do want to have some trees that are providing that kind of moisture and that kind of shade. The catch is that these trees don't come to maturity for 80 years. So if you are planting a tree like this in your yard, you're not really planting it for you, and you're not really even planting it for your children. You're really planting it for generations down the line. It's not something that you'll necessarily see kind of a quick win from. We're not here to make a quick buck. And so for us, that plays out that we're trying to build systems that are really going to change everything.
that sense of servant leadership. And I would like, if you're not familiar with the concept, I would love for you to explore it after this. But servant leadership is essentially, it's in the name, servant first. So you focus on the needs of others before you consider your own. And to ensure that integrity is part of the foundation of values that I hold and have core to the business. So
yeah, and I think integrity in particular these days, everyone is looking for trust. Right? Everyone, there's so much going on in the world that creates mistrust that a lot of people these days are actually looking to businesses to fulfill that gap because they don't necessarily trust the leadership.
Interviewing successful people, I realized that there were certain traits that they shared. First, they were passionate about what they did. This gave them energy to stay long hours and not give up when the odds were against them. They were creative in achieving their goals. Whether they were implementing new products or running effective meetings, they looked for innovative ways of doing things. Their passion was giving them confidence to stand for their beliefs, and they were determined. They kept going when the things were falling apart. And they were kind. They were kind to themselves, aware of their own limitations, forgiving, empathetic. They empowered others for them to flourish too. I think Sheryl Sandberg said it best. In the future, there will be no female leaders. There will just be leaders.
Are they really your values? And this is where I think most people are struggling with in the modern world it's what I call the authenticity gap. So there's this kind of version of you who you could be, and there's this version of you who you are, which is what's been created by society, life, your parents, peers, advertising, marketing, those nasty marketing people making you buy things you don't need. But this is the kicker, like the number one regret of people at the end of their lives is I wished I'd lived a life true to myself, not the life that others wish for me.
And Forbes and Harvard Business Review both published studies that looked at a reasonable sample of businesses that were pretty clear and consistent on their values versus others, not so much. And the numbers are crazy. Revenue increased in these companies 4 times faster. Job creation rates grew. New revenue grew 700%. Customer satisfaction doubled. Employee retention increased. And if one thrives, we all thrive. A rising tide lifts all boats, right?
Money empowerment to me is making money work for you so that you can do the powerful things you need to do in the world without stressing out and worrying about money all the time. So leading your value-led life and your value-led career, whatever that is, and having money work for you in the background. And I would like to think that we sleep better at night when we know we're doing good in the world and we're living up to our values.
When we give without expecting anything in return, we really, at least I've found in my personal experience, you get so much more out of the experience. And